At work, I was faced with a bit of ridicule after I'd admitted that I'd never listened to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon all the way through. And in some ways, this wasn't really my fault. The album did come out 26 years and 5 days before I was born. When I asked what I should expect from one of the most famous pieces of music of all time, I was told that it couldn't properly be explained with words. I had to sit down, get comfortable, and listen to the whole thing by myself. It is what it is. And this leads us to today's verse from Exodus 3 verses 13 to 15. Moses said to God, "Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you.' And they ask me, 'What is his name?' Then what shall I tell them?" God said to Moses, "I am who I am." This is what you have to say to the Israelites. "I am has sent me to you." God also said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, 'The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you.' This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation." So I am who I am. This is quite a simple statement, but it actually leads to a few complex ideas. When reading this phrase, it helps remind me about what makes God who he is. He is who he is, but what is he? So God is firstly infinite. God exists outside of time. He has infinite experience of the world he created, and therefore of course he's well equipped to hear our prayers and about our problems, no matter what form or however minuscule they may seem. Secondly, God is self-sustaining. God isn't defined by human thought or what humans have to say about him at all. He's a self-sustaining trinity that would exist whether the world did or didn't. This can be comforting, and it definitely is to me, because God's definition cannot be changed by what anyone says about him. He's infinitely perfect and will be forever. And lastly, God is absolute. God is absolute and is perfect. It's easy to fixate on bad things in our lives and attempt to refute this, but God's will often has a way of making itself known, even through hard circumstances, and sometimes especially in hard circumstances. It's worth remembering that God does have a plan for everyone, and therefore his will is carried out even when bad things happen to us. This is quite comforting, that God is always perfectly correct in his judgments. So these three traits of God more than earn our trust in him, in my opinion, and we should always be grateful that such a powerful God is also so loving to us in so many different ways. Now, Moses definitely needed this inspiration. He was about to travel back to Egypt to demand the release of an entire nation from slavery, from an oppressive pharaoh who was more than likely to laugh in his face and possibly sentence him to death. Now, I don't have to tell you this is quite a stressful situation. However, God inspires him with such a powerful and awe-commanding statement, with just one phrase reminding Moses of God's infinite, self-sustaining, absolute power. "I am who I am." A phrase oozing with righteous confidence and wisdom. And, as we all know, Moses succeeded. So how does this affect us in our daily lives? Well, I've had my own fair share of nerves. Exams, interviews, driving tests, plural, and more recently in an A&E waiting room as well. To inspire us in these situations, we should again remember that God is infinite, self-sustaining and absolute. As it says in my favourite Bible verse, Revelations 21:6-7, he is the Alpha and the Omega. And this event, or events we may go through in our lives, whilst extremely nerve-wracking for us in the short term, are such small amounts of time in comparison to God's infinite lifespan. In other words, he knows what he's doing. We should be thankful that God, like Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, needs no introduction.